Being a stylist has never been more rewarding, but it's also never been so complex. As hairstylists, we often forget that we are working in a multi-billion-dollar industry. The beauty industry is growing faster than ever, and there's so much left on the table because stylists aren't taking the time to understand business. I'm Melissa, your host. I'm a $1 million salon owner, a six-figure stylist, and founder and CEO of Sierra and Sage Extensions. And I'm here to help you understand how to bring business to beauty.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Bringing Business to Beauty podcast from Sierra and Sage Hair Extensions. I'm Emma. I am the sales and marketing manager for Sierra and Sage. And today we have Kaylin. She is our digital educator for the company. Just us two today, no Melissa this time, but today we're kind of going to be diving into our experience as managers. Kaylin and I both have pretty extensive experience when it comes to managing from large teams and then also from having like our small teams now in the beauty industry. So we just kind of want to like dive into what that looks like and what skills we've learned and what are like the benefits to just being a manager and having like a team that can support you behind the chair. So Kaylin, tell us a little bit about yourself and about your experience.
So I've been at Atelier Beauty Bar now for 4 years, I believe. And before that, I was actually with a barbershop. I was an area manager for them. And I kind of worked through all of the levels with them. So I was assistant manager. I went into management, and I had opened up actual location with them, which was really fun. I learned so much. And then I became an area manager. So I kind of worked through like all the levels on the ladder. And then I just decided that the corporate life was not for me, and that I missed doing women's hair and extensions. And I had done that previously too. So I had moved here from California. And so I was working in a salon in California. Okay. And when I moved here, I decided to go back to school. So I have a background in business management as well. And so I got my degree in that. And then when I moved here, I was like, let's just focus on school and then like being in the management field, still doing hair, but I was doing men's hair. And then I was like, something's missing. Like, I'm just bored and I need like more excitement and more of a challenge, because I feel like men's hair can be challenging, but I had gotten to the point where I had done it for so long that I was like, okay, I'm ready for something more, you know? Yeah. And so going back into the salon and doing extensions and color has like really filled my cup, I feel like.
So when you were, and actually let me dive into a little bit of like my experience that's kind of like complements Kaylin's a lot. I actually worked at my last job. I worked as a manager for a local restaurant that had about like 50 plus employees. So definitely very different. Now at Sierra and Sage, it's a much smaller team, but kind of the same thing. You know, I was like a big team, a lot going on, did a lot of, I guess wore a lot of hats in that position. Yeah. And so I had kind of the same experience. I was like, I need something new. I need a new challenge. And so that is what brought me here. So I was kind of thinking, you know, diving into this conversation and kind of planning out this podcast, I was thinking about like how working with going from a big team to a small team has benefited me and like affected how I do this job. What kind of things, I guess, when you were with a big team or, you know, an area manager and all of that, what are some things you like learned that you think have benefited you now behind the chair? Yeah. And maybe what are some things that we were like, I don't want to do that anymore?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing for me that I didn't want to do anymore was, just managing so many people. Like, I was managing 3 different locations. There was so many different personality types, and I think that is huge when you're managing like a big team, is trying to figure out, okay, how can I approach this person? How do I talk to this person? Or, you know, how do I give this person feedback? And like learning the different personalities, because you can't say the same exact thing to everybody. And so that was the hardest part for me, because I'm just like, I feel like I'm the person that gives you like the positive sandwich. Like I'm going to do like positive and then, you know, what you need to work on and then positive again, where like some people are like, just tell me, like just be blunt with me, you know? Sure. So learning those different personalities, that was like hard, but it did really benefit me. And then like the scheduling.
Scheduling is the absolute worst.
Scheduling, because you can't make anybody happy, honestly. Like no matter what you do, and you try, but nobody's ever happy with their schedule, you know? And so taking that off my plate has been like, it's like such a relief, honestly. But learning, you know, the different like leadership techniques, a lot of like different management skills, I feel like have really helped like moving into this industry, especially like the personality thing, and then also different like generations on like how they need to be taught, because I do feel like the younger generations, and I mean even us now, like millennials, like we are so much on our phone and like TikTok and all of that like our attention spans have shrunk. So like,
For sure.
you know, somebody that is like older like can really like learn a lot faster, or like I feel like the younger generations, like you have to kind of take it in small bites for them, versus just being like, here, this is what you got to do. You know?
Definitely. I feel like this exact same way. One of the biggest lessons I think I've learned over the years is the exact same thing of what you said, which is like, you can't teach personality. That was something Melissa actually had to kind of show me, where when I was working with, you know, a really big team, like I said, like almost 50 employees, obviously it's like everyone's different, but you kind of learn how to work with them.
Yeah.
But then switching to like a small thing is kind of, you almost have to like really just focus on that one personality you're working with, and that can be a little bit tricky, where maybe I've had like certain expectations, or I have like my personality where it's very this and that, and then their personality is very this and that, and it's not quite meshing. But I think it's also been like a good lesson in that, like, you know, again, you can't teach personality almost in a bad way where it's hard to work with someone, but it's also, you can't teach personality in a good way where it's like, now this personality is going to benefit your team a lot. And I think that's been a really good lesson for me. And especially in the beauty industry, like there's so many different types of hairstylists, so many, obviously, again, so many different personalities that you're working with, whether it's clients for you or for me, hairstylists, and it's really cool to just like see how different people work and kind of tailor their experience with our brand for sure.
Yeah, I do love, like, the one other thing that I really learned that was amazing was learning that you can't do everything yourself, and you have to bring in people on your team that are going to complement you, but maybe they have a better strength in something else that you don't.
Yeah.
You know, so like, you're amazing at marketing. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
like, I'm learning, but I'm not great at it. You know what I mean?
You're really good
And
at putting yourself out there. I'm not very good at that.
Yeah,
But,
see what I mean? I feel like creating a team where like you all complement each other, and maybe you do something really well and the other person does something that you don't do really well, you know? So yeah, I think with the small team thing, that's kind of fun too, because you're like, you can kind of fine tune it a little bit more, where with a really big team, it's hard to like nail all of that down.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. And then last episode, we talked, Kenzie and Melissa talked a lot about what it's like having assistants and all of that. And so you also have an assistant. You're a level...
5.
You're level 5 at Atelier Beauty Bar. So I think right where Kenzie is, or maybe was maybe she had just level jumped at the last episode. But so I'm sure, you know, like a lot of what she said kind of resonated with you. But I think the biggest thing is, again, going from a manager position and having that experience. How would you say your like leadership style has changed over the years, especially now having assistants and almost like managing just one person versus a bunch of people?
Yeah, I think it really goes back to what kind of I said before, where like you have to figure out how that person learns. Like a lot of people, you know, are hands-on. A lot of people are just tell me and I can do it. A lot of people have to see it. And just figuring out like, okay, which style like learning do you really benefit from? And then just seeing like their personality type, like, are they sensitive? Can I just be blunt with them? All of those things, like really figuring out like their type of personality. So that way I can approach them and they don't feel attacked, or, you know, they take the feedback well instead of getting like defensive or upset. Just because with assistants, like you have to figure out what is going to best serve them. Like that's the whole point of being like a leader, is like trying to figure out how can I make this person the best stylist they possibly can be.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree. I guess what is some advice you would give to like a different stylist that is like considering taking on an assistant and they're just not really sure where to start or like how to manage that? Because obviously, you know, as a hairstylist, you work kind of on your own for your entire life, I guess. What is just some advice you would have?
I definitely would say when you get your assistant for like the first time, always teach them everything. Like things that you think people think are like basic knowledge, like that may not be basic knowledge to somebody else, especially somebody coming right out of beauty school. So I always say like start from like the basics and move up from there, but teach them everything, like how you blow dry, how you wash, how you mix color, you know, how you brush their hair. Like some people don't know, start from the bottom and work your way up. Like just all of those basics, like make sure that you're teaching them all the ways that you actually do. I think that's a huge one, because we can't be upset with our assistants and stuff if we're not like fully teaching them everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think another thing is also just like have some patience as well. Obviously, I just work in the offices of Sierra and Sage, but I would say, you know, sometimes it's just a lot. It's a lot for a new person to learn all of this stuff, even if they've gone to school for it and, you know, they've graduated and you think they know. They might think they know everything and you might think they like are ready to go, but it's definitely important to have patience. There are things that I am still like thinking about when it comes to training Anne, our new sales rep. Even today I was just like, oh wait, there's this one thing, or I'm in the back like organizing something and I'm like, I don't think I ever showed her this thing. So it's important to have like a lot of patience, but also give yourself a lot of grace. You might bump into an assistant that maybe isn't working, or an employee that isn't really working, and that's okay. Like it doesn't reflect like that you're a bad boss. Maybe it just means like, you know, tailoring those ways that you're teaching, or just like tweaking your management style.
Yeah.
So definitely keep like an open mind for things like that.
And I will say the younger generation, I feel like always have them repeat things back to you, so that way you know it's going, it's not going in one ear and out the other ear. I think that's been a huge learning curve for me, because I haven't really worked with like the younger generation. Like what is it, Gen Z? Gen Z, right?
I think
Gen
so.
X? Gen Z.
Z and then X.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Okay, both. I'm all okay, both. But like I said earlier, like just having that shorter like attention span from social media, I feel like that's been a huge benefit for me, is just being like, okay, do this. And I feel like they're actually like retaining the information.
Yeah,
So.
for sure. And then I guess, what are your next steps? What are your goals now?
I mean, honestly, right now, I feel like I'm just kind of like diving into the whole associate thing, because it's like so new for me. And I just really like want to focus on like pouring my all into that. And then obviously with Sierra and Sage, like I really want to be like an in-person educator. I've been loving the digital education. That's been so fun. And then just doing like the in-person stuff. That's like, I feel like that's the next step with that for me. But really just like pouring my all into like, you know, the younger baby stylists. I want them to, you know, learn. I want to teach them as much as possible. So that way they can be the best that they can be. So
Yeah, for sure. I know. I definitely want to like grow the Sierra and Sage team. We've talked a lot about having me like stop sales entirely and just have like my team of like 3 or 5 people that almost like do it for me, which would be really cool one day. That's definitely very far down the road.
Yeah.
But it's definitely cool to see you grow and like get to have like multiple assistants and then watch them grow and all of that stuff, and it's cool.
I know, just seeing like both of our, you know, the salon grow, Sierra and Sage grow, like it's so fun, you know, because I feel like 4 years is a good amount of time to kind of just watch everything.
Yeah.
You know, and like see all the growth from everything. It's been really cool, and watching like Melissa grow and Jen, so just the whole thing has been really fun.
I've been with Sierra and Sage for about 2 years, and I still get asked the question, do you miss the restaurant at all? Do you miss anything about working with a big team?
Honestly, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like it's been so refreshing for me to kind of step back from like a actual like management job where I'm like managing multiple people, and just kind of really focus on like one person and like their personal growth. That's been really fun for me. And I think for the time in my life, it's just like perfect, because I can like have so much more work-life balance, where I had no work-life balance. And I'm sure you can relate to that,
Yeah, for
right?
sure. That's entirely why I quit, because
Yeah.
I was like, I need something new, because at the point in my life, you know, I was planning a wedding and I was thinking about like kids and whatever and what it was next, and I was like, I will never move up. One, I was never going to move up in that position, but I also was like, my schedule is so bad, where I remember one year, it was 4th of July, we were there till 3 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
because it was just so busy, and I was like, I couldn't do that, you know, with a kid and all
Yeah.
this stuff. So for sure, yeah, work-life balance is amazing when you are able to like focus your passion on just like a smaller group, whether that's, you know, your one assistant or just
Yeah.
like your 3 employees, and just be able to like have a team that you really mesh well with and really work well with. For
Yeah,
sure.
I agree. I'm like, honestly, I couldn't be happier where I'm at, and just want to kind of keep focusing on both jobs, you know?
Yeah,
Just
for
like,
sure.
yeah. I think eventually down the road, you know, I'll have bigger goals. I kind of like living in the now right now. It's kind of nice, you know?
Me
I
too.
feel like I was always like, what's the next goal? What's the next goal? You know? And now I'm like, oh, it's kind of nice to just like live in the moment and be like content with where I'm at, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Cool. Well, thanks for coming by the podcast. And then
Yeah.
I guess any like final thoughts for anyone out there? I think you already gave your tips and tricks for someone wanting an assistant. But
I mean, I would just say just keep going. Like, even with assistants or managing teams, like, it's going to be hard, but there is a lot of moments that it really pays off. So just keep going. You'll learn from it too. You'll get better at it. So
cool. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thanks, Kaylin, for stopping by. We'll have another podcast episode coming out next month, so keep an eye out for that, and we will see you guys later.